Hey guys, how's it going, and welcome to another week of Force of Will news. As you might have guessed by whatever weird title I came up with, there's a lot of news that happened this last week, including several GPs, one of which I attended, and a lot of other random things, so we'll step right into it. If you guys are just here for the GP results of Richardson, Taiwan, and Berlin, just go to this time mark right here, and that'll be that. We'll start out with Caster Chronicles. So Caster Chronicles, in case you guys didn't see, their new set just released this past Friday. I did a box opening in case you guys want to check that out. It's really cool. They did a lot of cool new mechanics and art with it that I'm pretty excited about. And as such, there was also an update for the CR, including all the new terminology and ways to refer to your deck and everything like that, since there's an extra deck, and how the mechanics work with this new soul and soul bond thing they introduced. I'm thinking of making a video about the new rules updates, especially regarding souls and soul bonds and all that. So I'll try and have that out later, maybe this week or something like that. So be on the lookout for that. Next piece of news was pretty cool. So Force of Will officially announced their global liaison. So this is going to be the person sort of in touch with the communities, reporting back to the company, helping out with different things like that to improve the overall game. And they named it as Jeff Finnegan. So he's been a really active member in the US group and different things like that with the community, which is pretty cool. He seems like a really cool guy. If you wanted to see it, they did an announcement video on the Force of Will YouTube channel announcing him, which is looks like the first in what might be more videos coming forward, which is their corporate videos for Force of Will. And this one, they went over a lot of different information. So they did the announcement of Jeff Finnegan. They went over this new system called Willpower Reward, which is going to be replacing Quest Clear. So it's similar to Quest Clear, but a little bit different. So you sign up on the app starting the 14th, which is today, I believe. And from this point until the 19th, I forget the exact day. Somewhere between that time period, just open up your Willpower Reward app and go to events, and it should be in there, and you should be able to click and put in your info. And a random amount of people, similar to Quest Clear cards, will get this Cheshire Cat promo, which is, as you can see, is full art as well as updated design to match the current design. And it's pretty cool. It's going to be part of their initiative to help more with Wander as well. This is sort of their first part. I don't know if all of Willpower Reward system is going to be Wanderer based, but at least this first part will be. With that, Jeff announced that he's going to be doing an end of the month live stream once a month. So how we had before with Jordan doing weekly Q&As live, this time instead of weekly, he'll be doing monthly, and he's hoping with that it'll be a lot more thorough. People will have more time to think about questions they want to ask and sort of gather the thoughts and then ask them, rather than it just being this hodgepodge of stuff. And so I'm really excited to have that sort of direct line of communication to the company, because that was one thing I really loved about Force of Will that no one else did, which was that direct line. So once that starts, that'll also be really cool for the news, because that's how the news started, was doing our weekly sort of recaps of the Jordan Q&A. So it's going to be nice to have that back again and be in those sort of conversations with him. Inside of that video, we also found out some stuff about the constructed deck that's going to be coming out. So this is the deck that's coming out at the same time as the new set, and it'll obviously have a bunch of new cards and everything like that. They confirmed that one of those cards, we had mentioned before that there was 5 special magic stones inside of there, which would mean you'd have a play set of 4 and then one random one. And we thought that might be a true magic stone, and they confirmed that it is in fact the return of the true magic stone. So if you guys don't remember, the true magic stone is the one where you can only have one on your field at a time. If another one comes out of your stone deck, then you banish the other one. So you usually only run one in your stone deck. So I'm pretty excited to have that sort of thing again. Maybe it might just be a one-off, but it could be something we see more of in the future. And they gave some teases as to what the deck might be about. They said the different resonators and everything will work in tandem with each other to sort of take down your opponent, and your J activation will help sort of bring you back no matter what state the game might be in. You'll be able to bounce back. So I'm really curious if this will introduce new mechanics, or I just love stuff that works together with each other and bounces off of each other. Even if it turns out to not be very strong, I still like this sort of tactics and stuff behind it is always fun, and that's the biggest thing for me, is if it's fun. So I'm pretty excited to hear about that. So that was the main pieces of news. Moving on to GP info. So this last weekend we had a bunch of different stuff. I'll start with GP Richardson. So that was one that Oscar and I attended. If you guys missed it, we actually did a sort of vlog style video. You can go over to our channel and click on it, or it'll be at the recommended at the end of this video. But we put a lot of work into it. We filmed all our different shenanigans and the GP itself, what went on down with it, and put it all compiled with some cool music and stuff. So go check that out. But the GP was really cool. It was actually a lot of fun. 84 people showed up, which isn't too high as much as we were hoping, or at least I was hoping for it to be considered, I feel like, successful, especially compared to previous years. But it could just been people testing the waters to see how sealed turned out. So I think with the next sealed event is when we'll sort of cement whether people didn't come because it was sealed or didn't come for other reasons or what have you. But I'm hoping it's just a one-off and the GPs will bounce back from here. But it was a lot of fun hanging out with people and everything like that. The sealed format turned out to work out pretty well for the most part. I feel like there was more ties than usual between people. Maybe that was just from my experience, but I heard it from other people, but that could have just been me. The highest played ruler was Black Butler as far as we could tell, and then it just sort of broke down from there. So on the day one, the top 8 included Frank Klosser, who with a using the Treasure Hunter ruler, and Zach Tufford with the Mermaid ruler, Joe Cuvis, I'm bad with names, I'm sorry guys, with a Black Butler, Robert Jones with a Black Butler, Brandon Bremont with a Mermaid, Anders Clovenis with another Treasure Hunter, Robert Weston with another Black Butler, and Justin Lane with a Black Butler. And moving into day 2, it switched to draft instead of sealed, so obviously their decks as well changed. So I'm not sure what the decks were for day 2, but we did have Aaron Miles here shared that their first card picks from draft for Justin was Ivy on the Floating Isle, Robert had Firewave, which is a great card inside of limited format, Anders with a Ambitious Panda, Brandon with Optional Possession, Robert with Rapunzel, Joseph with Traveling Panda, Zach with Panda Pugless, and Frank with Master of the Sky. Top 4 ended up being first place went to Frank, second place to Brandon, and then third and fourth, I'm not sure the order, was Cuevas and Zach Tufford. So that was sort of the breakdown there. So Berlin had I think it was 206 people attend it, so it was a pretty big one. First place was Stefan with an Evil Tree deck. Second place was Alex Blandon with a Fair deck. I'm not sure following this point if they're in order of 3rd to 8th, but next was Mika with an IU deck. So that's cool to see some IU again, love again. Next was Mean with another IU deck. Lars with another IU deck, so 3 IU decks made it in there. Carlo with another Fair deck, and Luca with a Lumia deck, and then Pascal with the Fox deck. So that was a pretty interesting sort of diversity of rulers there. Obviously, IU took it with 3 in the top 8, but it didn't take first place. And we had Fox again, which was really interesting to see that break into there, and Lumia and Farrer as well. So that was pretty awesome breakdown, I think, especially for the huge turnout there was. Unfortunately, I couldn't find a ruler breakdown, at least on the top of my search here. But if I see something, I'll update it. If I have time, I'm hoping I'll have separate articles for each of these GPs, so it'll be much more easily searchable if you put it in Google or something like that. And if so, I'll link it below in the description and let you guys know. So keep an eye out for that, tcgscripts.com. And so lastly, we'll move on to Taiwan's GP. So I'll move right into it. First place was a Fair deck. Second place was an IU deck. Third place, another IU deck. Fourth place, a Fairer again. Fifth place was the Green Gill deck. Sixth place was Mikage. Seventh place, Mikage. And 8th place, Mikage. So that one we had 3 different Mikages instead of 3 different IUs, but it still had a 2 IU showing, 2 Fairer showing, and different things like that. So that's pretty cool to see. The ruler breakdown for the entire event, 32% had Fairer, 18% had IU, 14% had Mikage, and that sort of broke down from there. 9 had Gil Ahamat, 9 had Lumia, and then down from there. So pretty interesting diversity from GP to GP, just those 2. It was had similar rulers kind of, but the huge Mikage showing was definitely differed from the big IU showing and different things like that. So really cool to see all that sort of turn out. And it was also just crazy having 3 GPs going on at once. But yeah, so that's all the news. Quite a bit to go over there. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. There's quite a bit to go over, but I hope that was broken down pretty well. And yeah, we'll go ahead and see you guys next week.